Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into Surah Al-Maidah, a chapter in the Quran that's both a super detailed legal guide and a really profound spiritual declaration. We're going to explore its structure, its key themes, and its lasting impact.
Now, to help us navigate this, we're going to lean on one of the most influential 20th century commentaries out there, Maulana Maududi's Tafhim al-Quran. His focus on historical context and thematic links is really going to be our lens for exploring this pivotal chapter.
Okay, so the name itself, Al-Maidah, means the table spread. It comes from this incredible story about a miraculous feast sent down from heaven. Right away, that tells you what we're dealing with, themes of sustenance, both physical and spiritual, and, the very nature of faith itself.
Now, an important thing to know, according to the commentary, is that this chapter didn't just appear overnight. Its verses were revealed over time, during this really critical period of consolidation, starting after a major peace treaty and ending during the Prophet's final pilgrimage, just as the Muslim community was cementing its laws and its identity.
So, here's our game plan for today. We'll kick things off with the chapter's practical laws for daily life. Then, we'll zoom out to look at the principles of community and contracts. And we'll wrap up with what's seen as the chapter's ultimate declaration, the completion of the faith itself. All right, let's jump into our first section. We're going to see how this chapter lays down a real framework for day-to-day living. And it starts with something everyone can relate to: food. So what's really interesting here, as the commentary points out, is the balance in these dietary laws. Yeah, sure, some specific things like carrion and blood are forbidden, but the rules also establish broad permissions, like allowing the food of Jews and Christians, who are called the people of the book.
The guidance goes beyond just what you eat. It moves into ritual purity. The commentary gets really specific about the steps for wudu, or ablution, which is done before prayer. And this isn't just about washing up, right? It's symbolic. It's about getting spiritually ready to connect with the divine.
And from these very personal, individual practices, the chapter then zooms out. It starts talking about the big stuff, the principles that really hold an entire society together, things like covenants, contracts, and justice. And this right here, this command right at the beginning, fulfill all contracts, is an absolute cornerstone. The commentary makes it super clear. This isn't just about signing on the dotted line. It's about every single promise, every obligation, whether it's with God or with other people. It's basically saying that integrity is the bedrock of a just community, period.
And here's where it gets really fascinating. Who is the chapter actually talking to? The commentary points out that the message isn't in a bubble. It's not just for Muslims. It's speaking directly to believers, of course, but also to other communities, specifically Jews and Christians, and even to those who don't believe.
So you end up with this kind of dual message, right? On one hand, for believers, it's a very clear call to action: uphold justice, even with your enemies, and stick to the law. But then, for the people of the book, it's like a reminder of their own scriptures and covenants, and it's an invitation to engage with this final revelation.
All right, and this leads us to what the commentary presents as the absolute peak, the theological climax, not just of this chapter, but maybe of the entire Quranic revelation. So, after laying out all these laws for individuals and principles for society, the chapter delivers this definitive, historic declaration. So, what was this final message? It all comes down to this one single, incredibly powerful verse. According to Maududi's commentary, this verse is a huge deal. It was revealed during the Prophet's farewell pilgrimage, and it basically acts as the capstone for the entire faith. And here it is: "This day I have perfected for you your religion, and completed my favor upon you." Now, the way the commentary interprets this is, well, it's monumental. It's essentially saying the divine legislation, the core principles, they're all set now. They're complete. No new laws are coming. The foundation is finished. So you can really see this as the grand finale of a very long process. The early revelations were about core beliefs. Then the middle ones laid out social laws. And now, here in Al-Maidah, all the final pieces just click into place, perfecting and completing the whole system. Okay, so let's bring it all back together. We've got these detailed laws, these binding covenants, and this massive declaration of completion. So when you look at it through the lens of this commentary, Surah Al-Maidah is so much more than a rule book. It's really a comprehensive charter for a community that's come of age. It gives them a legal framework, demands justice, defines how they should relate to other faiths, and then, boom, declares its own completion. And that really leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? We've explored the history and the huge theological weight of this chapter, but the big question is, how does a 7th century framework, built on these very specific rules, covenants, and this idea of finality, how does all of that resonate in the incredibly complex, interconnected world we all live in today?